Hey, it's Jared. Today we're going to take a look at some cases for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. These are slim, very thin cases. We're going to look at all of these cases that I purchased off of Amazon for this review. First, we're going to start off with a case from Torres. So this Torres case doesn't really have a name on it, but it is a slim case, and I'm linking to all of these down in the description below, so you can click on the link, go check out the pricing. Some of them come in different color options as well. What we're looking at is slim cases that protect your phone without adding much to your phone. So this case from Torres is very slim. It provides protection all the way around the phone, all corners and sides of the phone, with very little bit of raised edges just to protect screen down should you put the screen face down. I do have a screen protector on the phone, so that makes it pretty flush with the edge. But if you didn't have a screen protector on your phone, there'd be even a little bit more there. The buttons are very responsive, and so I like that. Very minimal. Everything is accessible. All the ports, speakers, everything is good here. This case is perhaps one of the thicker cases that we're going to be looking at today. But as far as cost, you really can't go wrong. Torres produces some pretty amazing cases for a very budget-friendly buyer. And so if you're looking for a great thin case, it's a little bit cheaper. This one is also MagSafe compatible. Pretty much all these cases that we're going to look at today are, because they're so thin, there's nothing to get in the way of the magnet. So this one is MagSafe compatible for wireless charging and all that good stuff. Next, we're going to look at the MagEasy case from Pitaka. I have a lot of Pitaka products, a lot of their cases and stuff on different devices of mine, because they're just so good. They're like this Kevlar form-fitted case for most of these devices, and maybe it's not Kevlar, I think it could be carbon fiber, but it's somewhere in between there, aramid fiber. So it's like a carbon fiber in a sense. Very form-fitting, and this case is so thin, it maintains the feel of your iPhone while providing protection. It's got cutout areas, so you don't even have to mess with any sort of buttons that you're pushing through the case into the phone. So it's all cut out. I would say the only thing that I don't like about this case is the fact that it doesn't have protection all the way to the edge here on the top and also the bottom of the phone. And so to me, like, I'm afraid to maybe damage the edge here, where there would be a little bit of protection from the edge of the case protecting the glass edge, which typically is going to be your break point. If you're going to have anything break, it's going to be in that area. And I have a screen protector, and there is a little bit of a ding in the corner of my screen protector. And that happened not because of this case or when I was using this case. It's been like that for a while. But that's the kind of crack that you're going to get, is something in the corner. And so I highly recommend a case, especially if you want that protection, to have something that does cover all edges of the phone. But I have to say, as far as minimal goes, this case is great because it's extremely minimal and it doesn't even feel like you have a case on your phone. And if that's what you're going for, I mean, it doesn't get much thinner than this. I mean, this case is extremely thin. I really like it. I like the look of it. I like the protection that it still gives the camera module. It's all good. And so next we're going to move on to the Arc case, which is a two-piece case that you just slip onto your phone. Basically, all this is providing is edge protection. This goes over your camera module, so it does prevent camera module from coming in contact with anything, and it provides some edge protection. And then of course you add the bottom portion on as well. It stays on. I mean, I used this case for a few weeks. I've had it for a few months now, and I have to say, like, it does a great job. It doesn't fall off. I'll pull this in and out of my pocket all the time. This stays on really well. And this for sure gives you the feel of your iPhone without having any case on it at all, while still having corner protection, which I think is pretty important. Having that protection in case you do drop your phone and it lands on one of those corners, you're gonna have the protection. The only thing that was a little weird about this case for me is just like when I'm holding the phone, kind of having those bigger corners while not having that matching the same size all the way around the phone. It's like thicker here and then it goes down to the regular size of the phone, was a little weird. Took a little bit of getting used to, but I have to say, like, as far as minimal cases go, this one's pretty darn minimal, giving you the feel of an iPhone without any case on it while still giving you some of that edge protection. And as you can see here, like I really have to apply some pressure to get this case off. And then you just kind of rotate it off of the top of your phone. And you want to be careful not to do that too many times because there is a padded area in here around the hardened outer shell. And pulling that on and off too many times, I feel like you're going to end up ruining it. The next case we're going to look at is from Totally. We'll go ahead and slide this case out. I thought the packaging was really nice on this case. They did a good job. They've even got a cool selfie of their team here. As far as this company goes, they're pretty neat. I mean, they look like they've really thought through what they're building here. This case reminds me of another case that we're going to look at called the Peel case. This case is insanely thin. Has kind of that like hard silicone feel, but it's so thin, it's not a hard case. Barely a protection from anything, but it does cover all corners of your phone with cutouts for the buttons, so you're not pushing buttons through. It's literally a skin that is on your phone, a snap-on skin. And so we've got protection around the camera module, which is great. We've got, you know, protection all the way around the corners. No screen down protection. The case is actually lower than the screen protector, which is fine. This case is providing minimal protection around the phone. The scratching and scuffing that you can get on the back of your phone, protecting your camera modules from coming in contact with any surface that you might set your phone camera module down on. That's essentially the job of this case, is being extremely minimal while still giving you a little bit of protection. And that's really what I like about the majority of the cases that we're looking at today. I have to say, like, this case is great. I mean, it is insanely thin. I want to compare it to the Peel case, but this Totally case is totally thin, very thin. I hope that over time, getting it in and out of my pocket, that these little areas wouldn't snap off or break off, but it does feel pretty durable. Like, I don't think I could tear this or really cause any damage to it. The holes for the speaker grills are really small. They basically match the same size as the holes here, so they lined up pretty good, and I felt pretty confident about that. We're gonna set this one off to the side because we are gonna compare it to the Peel case, and Peel has been around for a while and is well known for having a case that is essentially as thin as a Peel, which reminds me a lot of this case. So now we're looking at a monocarbon case, very similar to Pitaka case. And so if we look at these two cases, you can see they're very similar in their design and style. I'd say just by holding them that the Pitaka case is thinner. This case feels thicker. The back of it is more thick and rigid. And so if this case is a little too thin and maybe not rigid enough for you, this case is going to provide that. If you're worried about your phone bending or tweaking in your pocket, if you didn't have some sort of a case on it, perhaps this monocarbon case would give you a little bit of ease because it's a little bit thicker. I love the fact that it still has the cutouts for the buttons, but it is not cut out on the top. It has protection all the way across the top here, as you can see. That worry that I had about the edges here on the phone, I don't feel so worried with this particular case. I have a hard time deciding whether or not I like this case or the Pitaka better. I feel like the Pitaka is more form-fitting to the phone. This makes the phone a bit thicker, and so in the hand, you definitely feel like you're holding a phone with a case on it. It doesn't feel so much like an iPhone anymore because it is a little bit thicker. But overall, like, this case does feel pretty good. It's just gonna take a little bit of getting used to, especially if you're hopping between cases like me, where you can really tell the difference because you just went from one to the other. Personally, I do like the Pitaka case a little bit better because it's thinner, it's not so thick. And if I was going for minimal, I would want the most minimal. But what I wish that I did have is the Pitaka case without the cutouts on the top. I wish the Pitaka case went all the way across the top. I would feel better about it in that respect. So monocarbon, great case, definitely more durable, I think, and more rigid than the Pitaka case, but it's up to you, I think. Both of them look pretty good, look very similar, are made pretty much out of the same material. But now we're gonna move on to the Peel case. And Peel has been around for a while. They've been making super thin cases, and it doesn't feel as much like a Peel as the Totally case. This is kind of like the difference between the Pitaka and the monocarbon case. Like, The Pitaka case was thinner and flimsier. The monocarbon case was still thin, but it added some thickness to it. So this peel case, definitely a lot more rigid and adds a bit of thickness to the back of the phone. It is MagSafe compatible. Let's snap it in and see how it feels. My gosh, that's very form-fitting, and it snapped on hard. And so that case really does fit like a peel. Insanely thin case, but it does add a little bit of thickness to the back. It's still got good protection around the camera module. All the buttons are cut out, so we're not dealing with secondary buttons. And overall, I'd say like this case is really nice. I mean, it feels good, but it feels a little bit thicker in the hand like the monocarbon did compared to the Pitaka. And so if you're going for extreme minimalism, peel is not maybe the winner when it comes to extreme minimalism as far as cases go. Let's do a recap and talk about perhaps what my favorite cases are out of all of these. And of course, I have other case videos with cases that are a bit more dense. This video specifically was about thin cases, very thin, minimal cases. That case is not coming off very easily. Maybe it'll come off easier from the bottom. Yep, a little bit easier from the bottom. That worried me a little bit. That snapped on so tight. And so I have to say, like, the peel case definitely kind of becomes one with your phone. All right, so as far as thin, minimal cases that are like a kind of a silicone feel, we've got 3 cases here. We've got the peel, the Totally, and the Torres case, and all of them look pretty similar when you look at them from the top down. But what I could tell in using them is that the peel case definitely felt thicker out of all of the cases. Then we get to Torres case, and then we get to the Totally case. The Totally case, I think, would be the winner as far as thinness, because this case is just so extremely thin. It wasn't terribly expensive either. So, you know, if you did wear it out in these areas, or, you know, kind of broke through after a while, it's not like you really broke the bank on this case, but gosh, it's extremely thin. So as far as these like silicone feel cases, I would say the Totally case wins. And then as far as price goes, I'd probably go to the Torres case. And then of course the peel case is a great case, probably the most durable one out of all of these, but it's definitely also the most expensive. Now, when it comes to these fiber look cases, kind of carbon fiber, aramid fiber, Kevlar looking cases, I would say I'd probably still go with the Pitaka just because I like the look and I like how thin it is. I do wish that this area was filled in here at the top of the Pitaka case, but I really like the Pitaka case, even though the monocarbon's really nice as well. So if you wanted something that's a little bit more durable and perhaps might last longer and has the added protection around the top and the bottom of the case here, the monocarbon's definitely going to be your go-to. If you want something a little more minimal that maintains the feel of your iPhone, then the Pitaka case is the one you would want to go with. Now, the Arc case that we looked at, this to me is kind of a novelty. I probably would prefer not using a case at all to using this, but it's definitely neat. Like, you put this case on your phone, people start asking questions. What is that? And that's kind of a neat thing too. Like, when I had this case on and I'd set my phone on the table, people would ask me like, what the heck is on your phone? And I kind of miss having that uniqueness. And this type of case is unique. So definitely, if you're looking for something that is a little more unique, maybe the Arc case is for you in that aspect. So that's going to do it for this video. Check out the links in the description below to see the different variations of these cases. Like I said, some of them come in different colors and options, so make sure to check that out. What's your favorite thin case? Share that with me down in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you back in another one soon.